Greetings YouTube. Today we're looking at a Firebird knife, and this is the F7551 in the orange, obviously. Orange, kind of hard to not see that now, isn't it? And this is a two-pocket folding knife. Two-pocket position clip, sorry, folding knife, yeah. And tip-up position only, but since that's my favorite, I don't mind. The fact that it is a dual thumb studs and an axis lock means that this knife is 100% compatible with left-handed people. So that's a big bonus. I like the blue thumb studs and the blue pivot screw. I quite like that, as well as the two screws here for the that hold the holding together. This is a semi-open design, so you've got this spacer here, but this up here is open. Now you'll notice this big hole here. Now I can't do it on the table because I don't have enough room, but you can actually open this knife if you hold this and you snap down, and you can see it almost wants to go. You can open that way and very, very quickly. Oh, I apologize. No, you'd have to remove that. I didn't realize that. So yeah, I should have pointed that out. You have to remove that screw and turn it over. Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't have to change it, but I didn't notice it. A lanyard hole big enough for some paracord, and there is the blade. Flat grind from spine all the way down with a secondary bevel, and it is buttery smooth. It is very pleasant, and it comes out of the box with a reasonably sharp knife, and this is a very shallow curve, and I think this is being sold as a Skinner, but I'm not positive. I don't remember. I bought it because I like the overall kind of cleaver shape into the blade. It made me smile. I like the hole here. I thought that was kind of cool, and I wanted to see if you could actually open it with this, and you can, as I just demonstrated that it is quite possible that you need a little bit more space than I have at the table at the moment. This is a very comfortable knife, full grip, axis lock, so and you can close that wicked fast, which is very nice. And if you want to, you could do it that way as well. I've often, as I've said before, I was curious if that makes this a gravity knife, because that's very fast. You don't even have to use the thumb studs. Because one of the things I have noticed with Axis knives is I can't flick them. I can't do it because you have to get past the resistance of the axis lock itself. So I guess I'll use it that, or I'll do the opposite as I just showed you by opening it that way. But yeah. So I can't flick it with my thumb, which is my favorite preferred method, but you can open it quickly. The thumb studs themselves are just shy of the scales, which I think is the preferred amount. I don't like having them too proud. Also, it helps that the tops of these are rounded, so you're not going to get drag on your pocket. This is not a deep carry, so you have something to grab, which I kind of like that. I'll admit that sometimes deep carry pocket clips can be a pain. With this, you most definitely have something to pull on when you're taking it out of your pocket. These are G10 scales, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that little pattern in there. See that? Kind of looks like the green rain from the Matrix. It does also afford you a little extra grip, though the subtle pattern on here I have found to be quite sufficient for a grip. I've carried a number of Firebird knives over the last few years, and I've never found them to be slippery at all. You have nice chamfering here on your edge, and it's kind of interesting that there's an additional amount of chamfering here, right there, as though it were a liner lock. So it makes me wonder if they use these scales for other knives, which again wouldn't shock me that they have scales which are usable for other blades. Just if you can use the same part for two different projects, you do it. Off-the-shelf parts make your project less expensive, because that serves absolutely no purpose really for a knife that has an axis lock. And you really don't notice the difference. It's very yeah, you really don't notice a difference. So I can't imagine they put that in there just because it's comfortable. That to me makes it look like it was designed for something, but I could be wrong. One nice thing about this, you can see this really big choil. It's like almost a half circle. So if you want to, it's very comfortable like that and quite safe. Your finger sinks right down in there. You are not, and I'm pushing on this, you are not going to get your finger up on onto that sharp edge. So if you needed to get in there and do some work like that, for skinning or something like that, you could without any difficulty, and you're greatly increasing your grip on the knife, and you're definitely not going to have any kind of worry about slippage, even if your hand is wet, which happens if you're skinning something. It does get wet with blood. So quite usable. And if you like the reverse grip for some strange reason, it's quite comfortable, no difficulties whatsoever. So overall, a solid design. I've liked this clip. I've tried this. Again, I've carried a number of Firebirds over the years, and that clip always works very well for me. The only thing I have found is that sometimes this isn't quite thick enough to get over some of the pockets I have on my heavier duty pants, but on regular, everyday, ordinary jeans, that is quite sufficient. That's my only real critique of the clip itself. The tension has never been a problem. I've never had to adjust the tension on one of these knives for getting on a pair of pants or off a pair of pants. So yeah, I like this design. I like Firebird brands. They're made by Gonzo, so this is like a sub company of Gonzo, but they're good quality, solid price. I believe this is a $20 knife. I could be wrong, I don't remember. I've had it sitting around waiting for a review for quite a while, but most of the Gonzo knives I have tried have been in the $20 to $30 range, so it's a lot of value for your money. I don't think you can go wrong with a Firebird or a Gonzo knife. I really don't. I have never been displeased with the quality on the build of a Gonzo knife. The blades are rock solid in both directions. It's an axis lock. They don't get much tougher. It's just overall a great design. And if you like this type of blade and you have a use for this type of blade, I freely admit I purchased it because I thought it was kind of cool looking. But if you are a hunter and have ever used something like this in the field, tell me. I'd like to know how well it worked, whether it's this particular knife or other ones that have a similar shape. I'd like to know how they work. So yeah, this has been the, what is this one? Sorry, top of my head. This has been the F7551 in orange from Firebird. A solid design.